In Texas, a deranged gunman, Mauricio Garcia, stormed an outlet mall in North Dallas, killing at least 8 people. Like many recent mass shooters, he was a Nazi. He wore a patch on his chest that read RWDS, which stands for Right Wing Death Squad. This phrase is frequently used by white supremacists. The mass shooting by homegrown right-wing extremists are becoming so commonplace that it's difficult to keep track. We remember Dylan Roof from the church in Charleston, South Carolina. There was a slaughter in El Paso, another in Buffalo, a synagogue in Pittsburgh. The list of carnage keeps growing as Republicans do nothing. Americans must admit that our country is under siege. It's a one-sided war, where right-wing nuts who have been given access to weapons of war by Republicans beholden to the NRA are open firing on civilians. Their goal is to destabilize America and start a race war. A number of these unsavory, treasonous elements participated in the January 6th insurrection. Yet they fancy themselves patriots. Yeah, right. After the September 11th attacks, the United States of America declared a war on terror. We should be no less vigilant when it comes to the terrorists who were born and raised on American soil. While conservatives love to blame the left, our homegrown terrorists overwhelmingly come from the right. The Anti-Defamation League has counted about 450 U.S. murders committed by political extremists in the last decade. Of these 450 recorded killings, right-wing extremists are responsible for about 75% of the deaths. Left-wing extremists are responsible for 4%. Do the math. Nearly half of the murders were specifically tied to white supremacists. Right-wing religious groups are also fueling the violence. An August 2021 Public Discourse and Ethics survey found that 27% of white evangelicals agreed that, quote, true American patriots may have to resort to physical violence in order to save the country. This was roughly double the percentage for other religious groups. Stephen Getz, a researcher at Penn State, found that for every 10% more evangelicals that reside in a county, the number of hate groups in that county increases by 17%. Are these churches or indoctrination centers fomenting rage and retribution among their followers? When Americans see hate coming from radical Pakistani madrasas, we say, let's act to stop this deadly ideology. We need the same sense of urgency to combat the threat right here at home. What we are facing is a warped sense of white grievance and a false victimhood that is nurtured by the MAGA wing of the Republican Party. We must admit that this is our reality. We have nuts like Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene calling for the states to divorce. The part of the country she wants to keep would be a homeland for white Christian nationalists. No thanks. Isn't her dangerous and unpatriotic vision giving the crazies an incentive to destabilize the country? Think about it. Recently fired Fox News host Tucker Carlson pushed the Great Replacement theory, which posits that Jews are using immigration to push out white Christian Americans. Donald Trump dined with white supremacist Nick Fuentes, an anti-Semite Ye. What message are these messianic messengers sending to their bellicose base? You can't separate this neo-Nazi violence from the ability to secure weapons of mass murder. These extremists have the will to kill, and Republicans are providing the way. The GOP's refusal to deal with America's glut of 400 million guns is assisting white supremacists with their deadly dreams. If Republicans offer only thoughts and prayers after each mass shooting, Americans don't stand a prayer against violent ideologues with extremist agendas who are armed to the teeth. The time for empty prayers is over, and the time for new policies is now.